right. Hello, everyone. We are now live. And in case you are confused and wondering who I am, my name is Antonio Bryce. I am a comic book writer and, among other things, and a podcaster, and I'm just me. But you can catch my comic. I have a book. It's called Brand Way of the Gun. We are over $31,000 now. And it is at ikaripress.com. It'll take you to my Indiegogo link. I'm also going to take this audio and put it on my podcasting platform, which is anchor.fm/IkariPress, where you can go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, or iHeartRadio, and just type in Ikari Press. We should come right up. And we are also streaming live to the good folks over there on Planet EJOBN. Hello to all of you watching on Facebook there. Or if you just want to hop directly into the chat, if you're on one of the other platforms, it is youtube.com/IkariPress. All right. Well, I want to welcome Justin Murphy to our show. And he has a comic called War Party. Well, Justin, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Antonio. Appreciate you having me here.
Yes, sir. All right. So from what I was looking at on your campaign.
It's for the card 3704.
Oh, yeah. Apparently you have little people.
I have a
there.
Child. Hold on, hold on 1 second.
I'm like, yeah, that was. Yeah, well, okay, let me look in the chat there while he does some parenting. And, yeah, let's see what's going on here. Let's see.
All right, sorry about that. Pizza delivery time.
Yeah.
12-year-old needed the credit card.
Hey.
What's the credit card code on the back?
I needed a credit card when I was 12 as well.
Yeah. I didn't think it'd be a good idea to shout it out on,
yeah, that probably would have been a mistake.
Here are my digits, everyone.
Yeah, so although if you want to send me the numbers privately, we can accept that. I accept all donations, great and small. Yeah. So okay, War Party. I'm looking at this. It looks very interesting. So start at the beginning. Let's hear about your book.
Yeah, I did it a little different than most crowdfunded books. Instead of doing a graphic novel, I did it as a mini series. So I wanted to do 6 issues. Treat it like like floppies basically. But the book takes place during the French and Indian War, and the characters there, you'll see there's 5 members of the war party. They're all shapeshifters. The Wolf character, his daughter was abducted during the conflict between the French and the British, and she was taken away. So they're trying to get her back. She's like a little 8-year-old girl, and he enlists the aid of a shaman, a female shaman. She's Algonquin, and she has the pelts and the shape-shifting powers, and she grants them these shape-shifting powers so they can take on the French and the British, who team up against them once they find out what they are. So I took basically kind of like a werewolf story and put it into American history context, during colonial America. So, and it's doing pretty well. It's been building momentum slowly, and that's why I extended the campaign. And Michael Golden does a guest artist cover for me for one of the variant covers, and I've also got Preston Acevedo.
How did you happen to pull that one off? Michael Golden is.
I don't know because let me tell you, he's my favorite artist of all time, and it goes all the way back to the Nam. I love and G.I. Joe, and I grew up reading his work, and I just found him on Instagram and messaged him, and he would just happen to be available.
Wait a minute. So let me get this straight. Is Michael Golden twerking on the gram? Is he on the gram?
No, his manager actually, or his agent manages his account. So she responded to me, and then she set everything up.
Okay, because I was wondering. I follow on the Ikari Press Instagram. I follow a lot of artists. So basically, I kind of act as kind of like an aggregator site where I take other artists' art, and then I share it. I also share like memes and crazy videos and stuff. Yeah. And that, kind of a nice little pot of stew to get my audience engaged. I mean, we've done okay. We've got over 11,000 people following us on Instagram. So it works out. So, but I would say, I found that a couple of artists like Brian Stelfreeze, who I love, he's he's kind of like, this is my account, but someone else is running it, that kind of thing.
Right,
so I'm
right.
like, does Michael Golden actually have an official, is he actually out there, on Instagram? Because I was like, I need to find him.
Yeah. It's his manager or his agent that handles it, but it is an official account. He just doesn't upload to it. But artwork and everything is constantly uploaded.
Okay.
Past artwork.
I was like, man,
it's just his artwork. Yeah, that's all you ever see. You don't ever see pictures of him or anything like that.
There's also a couple of people I follow, and they, what they did is they got verified. I guess it's like they created the account just so that no one else could have, because there's a lot of parody accounts.
Yeah, right.
So it's like, I'm Frank
it's hard
Miller's
to,
elbow.
It's hard to know.
Yeah, it's like Frank Miller has an account and it's verified. And every now, but there's another one called Frank Miller Inc. that a lot of people thought was actually him, but it doesn't have the actual Frank Miller account it actually has the blue check mark.
Right.
But the other Frank Miller account is more active.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's not that hard to get a hold of people. I mean, like I'm an animator and I've been working on a movie called Dogtown for years. I got a hold of George Foreman and got him in my movie to do voice of one of the characters. I got a hold of Stacey Dash from Clueless, got her to do voice of one of my movies.
Had a crush on her when I was
well, who didn't, right?
yeah.
Forget Alicia Silverstone. I was like,
I heard too, though. I mean, it was like, that's one thing about Clueless. They weren't clueless about how attractive those young ladies were in the movie. It's like,
Brittany Murphy hadn't blossomed.
Rest in peace.
But she wasn't quite there yet, but she turned into quite a beautiful woman.
That was, that's actually kind of strange because like Brittany Murphy in Clueless, she was clearly. It's like what's the young lady that they cast for Ugly Betty?
America Ferrera.
Yeah. Okay, so she was cast to be. I mean, the ugly. Right. She's supposed to be a plain Jane type girl. And then, and when she started the show, she actually, she had a couple of extra pounds or whatever. Them residual checks start coming in, and she's getting, she, got a personal trainer.
All right.
And, and she's in pretty amazing shape. I've seen her on the red carpet a few times at various movie premieres and things like that. And, she's quite fetching. She's definitely not an ugly young lady, but that's what and I saw some interviews with Brittany Murphy where she kind of explained she was in Clueless. She's supposed to be the ugly best friend or whatever, the kind of normal, the regular looking girl, and then she's trying to move on in her career in Hollywood, and there's all that pressure on her to maybe lose about another 15 pounds. Dye your hair and get this and do that, and you have to get yourself. And I mean, she was dating Ash. I remember she actually marry Ashton Kutcher, and then they got divorced or something.
But she might have. I don't remember. I know they dated.
I thought they got married and got divorced within like a week or so. It was one of them type because they were definitely engaged.
Yeah,
remember that.
She definitely transformed herself. It's sad she's gone, but yeah, that was a great movie. I was drugged to that movie by my girlfriend at the time, and she was a dance student at college, and all of her dance, major friends drugged me. I was kicking and screaming. I did not want to see it. And then I walked out of that movie thinking this was one of the funniest movies I've seen in a long time. I loved it, but I had no idea what I was going to see.
I think the movie for me was Mean Girls. I didn't want to go see Mean Girls. There was matter of fact, I remember me and my girlfriend at the time, we went to the movies and I was trying to go see something, more action oriented and everything. She's like, I want to see Mean Girls. And she's like kind of, and I'm like, okay, you gotta keep the missus happy, right? So I was like, okay, give me 2 tickets to Mean Girls.
It's a good one. It's a good movie.
Yeah, and then we went and got a big old tub of popcorn and a drink and we shared and all that kind of little candy. And I was like, man, there's a reason they keep all that stuff in a jewelry case or something. Like, let me get a pack of Reese's Pieces for $5 or whatever, But we went to see Mean Girls and it was brilliant. And I was like, wow, that movie, this is the last movie I would have gone to see in it. Yeah. And I've watched the movie like 10 times. I thought it was
it holds up. It's so well written. That's the thing.
Tina Fey,
the whole thing.
Yeah. So I thought that kind of stuff was, very interesting. So, are you if I'm not mistaken, are you the writer and the artist on this book, or are you just a writer, or what do you?
I am everything but the colorist.
Oh wow,
that's
okay.
it. Yeah. So, writer, artist, publisher, letterer. You know, other than the colors, and I do all the rest. I've been doing comics since '92. I self-published
Indie
black and white.
or
Yeah, black and white. Yeah, all self-published. But I mean, I was distributed through Diamond and everything. But yeah, I actually launched my first book when I was 17, and it was in the same catalog when Image launched Wildcats. Wildcats was actually on the cover previews, and that was a great time, especially at that age, to get into comics, because you could put a #1 on anything, and it would sell. It didn't matter what if it said #1. You were selling several thousand copies. I don't care who you were, So it was a fun time to be in comics. So I kind of got the bug at the time, and then went off and did wrote for in New York for theater for a while, and then I came back to comics in 2008 with Claiborne. It was a Civil War graphic novel I did, and that was also distributed by Diamond. It was one of the last books, I think, to get the Xeric from Peter Laird. Generously gave me $5,000. Appreciated that. So they don't do that anymore, unfortunately, but they used to give grants to independent publishers. And then I just left comics for years and went into animation. And honestly, it wasn't until I started following, Ethan Van Sciver's channel a couple of years ago. It was back actually when you were promoting Brand, is when I first started watching, like Comicsgate channels and things like that. And your boy Zach and people like that. And I was learning about what was happening in the industry, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. So there's this movement going on in crowdfunding right now. And it got me excited about wanting to do comics again, honestly, because I just thought it was really cool. That people were just supporting each other's campaigns, and there was like a community you could reach out to, and that was like loyal readers and backers. And I like being able to go direct to the customer, because working with Diamond, you only get 40% of the cover price. It's hard. Wow. Yeah, so a $24.95 graphic novel was $9.98. That's what I got. So being able to sell directly to the customer, even at the prices I'm offering, which are fairly low apparently for crowdfunding, is still great for me, because I'm not used to getting cover price for anything. So that's why I'm offering 6 issues for $25. I'm trying to price it the way it would be priced as if it were in a retail store.
Okay. Yeah. How many pages is that going to be?
It's 22 pages of art, like a typical comic book.
So 6 22 page.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it'll
be about 140 pages of story all in all. So that would have been that's a pretty hefty graphic novel, but it's $24.95 or $25 is about what I expect to pay for 150 page graphic novel. So I felt like this was reasonable, and I'm not new to the business, but I know I'm new to most people, because most people don't know who I am. So, I wanted to just offer readers a deal, honestly. Just, try my book, see what you think,
Okay, so I have your campaign pulled up actually, and looks really good. So, okay, so you're, as previously mentioned, you are the artist as well. Like, this is pretty darn good art.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, I like I said, other than the colors, I do all the inks and pencils and layouts and story and everything. Yeah. And the variant covers are actually, each variant cover features a different member of the War Party, which is why I have 5 variants of issue 1. And Michael Golden does the Eagle character. And I just worked out a deal with Preston Acevedo. He's going to do a painted print of my lead character Diani, the shaman. He's going to deliver that within a week or so. So I'll be able to add that to the campaign as well.
I'm trying to remember. Preston did a painted cover for, I can't remember, the couple months ago.
Recently, yeah, the Mothman series.
No, it was another one. There's another.
He's a busy man.
I bet. Yeah, he's got some work, but he man, I can't remember. Oh, Peregrine
Wings of the Falcon.
Yeah. Peregrine Wings of the Falcon. I bought that. I actually bought, because I was like, man, that's a great cover. I thought it looked amazing.
He's good fast art. And he's good. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I mean, I grew up reading stuff in the late 80s, like Brian Boland and Bernie Wrightson, Michael Golden. Those are the artists I grew up following. So that's kind of my influences.
Yeah, like when I saw Michael Golden, I still have my my issue of Avengers Annual number 10, which is the first appearance of Rogue.
Yeah.
You know, that's a great. They did one of those the legacy reprint things where you could get it for like $1 or whatever. And I saw those were selling out too. So.
I always loved his G.I. Joe yearbook. I don't know if you remember that.
But gosh, yeah,
that's so good.
Yeah,
so
and
good.
He did Micronauts
and Doctor Strange and Bucky O'Hare. And yeah, he's a great artist.
I kept hearing Bucky O'Hare was coming back. I don't know if that's gonna happen. But a couple years ago, I heard Bucky O'Hare was gonna come back, and it never seemed to. It's like, hey, Bucky O'Hare might be coming back, and I was like, oh wow. They even had I remember they had a cartoon that was on briefly.
Yes.
And they had action figures for Bucky O'Hare, and so I remember Bucky O'Hare. I was like, oh, Bucky O'Hare, and then it never seemed to come back. But hey, man, like I said, kudos on getting. Wait a minute, is that the?
That's the only traditional piece I did was the poster. I do everything digitally on the Cintiq tablet. So that's the only piece that I did traditionally on artboard, and that's obviously I'm auctioning that one off, or not auctioning, but it's one of the perks in there. But yeah, I wanted to do something. So
you inked Michael Golden?
No, that's my work.
Oh, I thought that was Michael Golden's cover.
I'm going to change that. That might be a little confusing. No, his that's my poster. I did that. If you go up.
Oh, okay. I was like, wow. Yeah. Okay, so you ain't Michael Golden. Okay,
no. His posters his if you go all the way to the top in the little preview window, below the video, how it has like a little preview window under the.
Yeah. Let me pull up.
Yeah, it's his cover's in there. It's like I think the third from the last. Yeah, keep going. Yeah, he did the Eagle cover. That one right there. Yeah. Okay. That's his. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Okay.
So I'll change that if that's confusing. I'll move that.
Yeah, because I know when you hold it up, I was like, oh, that's Michael Golden.
Yeah, no, that's my work.
Okay. Well, I mean, I thought it still looked good, but I was like, yeah, man. So yeah, you're let's see, you got 135 backers here, 6,900 so far.
Rolling along.
And it looks like you're on track to hit your funding goal.
So far so good. I'm also offering a motion comic because I'm being an animator and everything. I thought it'd be great to do a motion comic of the entire 6-issue series. So it's a $10 add-on perk, and I'll send them basically a movie file of the finished motion comic. It's got sound effects and music and actors doing the voices and everything. So that's kind of a nice little addition.
So let me ask you about this because you got this $50 your featured perk, the variant set. Okay, yes. So obviously you got 6 issues. So does each individual issue have the main cover and a variant?
No, what it is you get all 6 issues, but then there's 5 variants of issue 1. So
okay.
Yeah, so issue 1 has the main issue, the regular issue 1 cover, and then there's 5 more that have each member of the war party on the cover. So you're getting 11 comics plus a poster for $50.
For $50. Okay. Yeah. I was like, wow. Okay.
I
was like, okay, cool.
Yeah. And of course, there's just the regular series as well. Just the basic 6 issue, which that's obviously the most popular one.
Yes.
$25 perks always go.
Yeah.
And Preston's going to do he's going to do 5 sketch cards for me, one of each character, and that's all. Like there's only going to be one of each. And that'll be up in a week. And then also his prints of his painting and the original. He's going to let me sell the original. He sold it to me, so I'm going to sell the original as well.
Okay, so and then here's the poster art that you were holding up that I mistakenly thought was you inking my. Okay, so and well, there it was in black, and like I said, that's you holding it up, and it is impressive.
If you scroll up to that black and white shot, it's like a page where he's turning into the werewolf. Yeah, right there. I did something different. If you go up, that one right there.
Right.
Yeah, gotcha. Go a little higher. On that one, I did something different. What happens is the pelt. You put on the pelt. Basically, Diane finds out what your spirit animal is. Right. She touches you and it releases it. She knows what it is. If it's a wolf or a gator or whatever. Well, in this case, his was a wolf. So she creates these pelts and puts them on you. And what happens is when you transform, the pelt actually like penetrates your flesh and merges with your body. So you see it's going into his body, and everybody's freaking out, and so it's like consumes you, and then you turn into that beast. So I wanted to do something different with the whole transformation, other than what we've always seen with the typical werewolf, or that we've seen a million times.
That sounds wildly inappropriate.
Well, I mean, it's like going into their skin, like because the thing's made out of like, it's got like sticks on it, and the cloth of the wolf, and of course the fangs bite down into his skull, and it's pretty horrific, but would be nice in a movie, actually, or animated.
I'm sure, yeah,
like, that look cool.
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty interesting visual. So
yeah.
You said, okay, so you said you've been doing indie comic. Well, you started when you were like 17 or whatever, and
92. Yeah.
What's some other things that you may have published that? Well, you said they were in the Diamond catalog. So is there anything someone else?
Clayburn, which is it's on Amazon now. Diamond doesn't distribute it anymore. They just did it when it first released.
Right.
But now it's just gone to Amazon. But it's like a Civil War, a true story about a real general. And that one did pretty well. So about 5,000 copies. That's the most I've probably ever sold of anything, honestly. Which is why a lot of people probably haven't heard of me. But when you're doing niche market things, those aren't bad numbers. And then I did another book called Holidays, which is like a humor book, kind of like Peanuts meets The Far Side kind of thing. And that was distributed by Diamond as well in 2010. But I haven't done anything since. I mean, this is my sort of my comeback to comics after a decade-long break, after doing animation for almost 10 years. So, but it was funny because, comics are work, and we all know that, right? Especially if you're the artist. But let me tell you something. When you've been doing hand animation for 7 years, comics is a vacation, because it's the amount of labor that it takes to do a page, like what you could depict in one page, you can get that done in a couple of days. The same amount of events that happen on that page, if you were to animate that, would take months, months. So the amount of story you can tell on a comic, and how fast you can tell it, and how cheaply you can tell it, versus animation is just, there's no comparison. And that's why I love the medium, because if you can draw it, you can do it, right? I mean, it's that simple. So.
Well, have you worked in animation? Have you worked on anything that people might be familiar with? The reason I'm asking, though, we had I've had John Celestri on a few times, and he worked on like Dragon's Lair and Space Ace and stuff, for Don Bluth, and always tease him about. He also worked on this horrible cartoon called Turbo Teen. That was just, it was about 82, I think. It was a horrible cartoon called Turbo Teen that I used to watch religiously as a child, but it was terrible, about a kid that gets fused with his Corvette or whatever. And it was, you got to see it. They've got clips of it. There's actually, I know there's a full episode or two that have been uploaded on YouTube. And basically, I guess when he gets hot, he turns into the Corvette. And when he gets cold, he turns back into the team. But that's his, so he's like Knight Rider or whatever.
Right.
Like he'll turn into the car and talk to his friends, and they'll hop in, the girl he likes is riding inside him and stuff like that. I was like, okay. And then, and I remember he like drove off a bridge, and so now he's in cold water. So now he's like, I'm swimming in the water. The whole thing. There was a episode that I rag on all the time where he's laying in bed and something happened to him. I don't know if maybe he was thinking about the girl, or something happened that got him a little flummoxed, and he turned into the car in his bed.
Oh my gosh.
So he's in his bedroom as a full car. And then his mom's trying to get in the bedroom. She's like, hey, open up. What's going on in there?
The door won't open.
And he's like, hold on, Mom. And he's like trying to use his wheel hand to open the bathroom door and get. So I'm sitting there. He's a car, and his bathroom's closed, and he's trying to make the wheel. I mean, he's full car at this point, but he's like walking on two wheels or so. It was.
I've never heard of this. Yeah, that's
oh my God, you got to see this. This is incredible. So he's like on two wheel legs trying to get the bathroom door open, and his, like his mom's like, "Hey, open up! What's going on? Oh, hold on, mom, hold on." I would. This would be hilarious if this was an actual live action show because he's taking his wheel hand and he's like trying to turn the knob so he can open the bathroom, and then so he gets in there, he pulls it off and turns it and gets the bathroom door open, and he manages to turn the cold water on in the shower and sprays himself down with cold water to turn himself back in. And then obviously right when he's turning back into a human, his mom is able to, "Hey, why you open the door?" That kind of thing.
Wait, was this a comic or a cartoon?
This was a cartoon.
This is a cartoon. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, he was one of the animators on it.
Interesting.
And I was looking at his IMDb and I saw that and I was like, I remember Turbo Teen. It was so good. He also worked on X-Men Evolution.
Okay.
Yeah, he worked on because I was like the first time it was great because he's like 71, 72 years old.
Oh wow.
He worked with Brad Bird, the Incredibles and all that.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
Ratatouille,
Iron Giant too.
Yeah, Iron Giant, yeah. Ratatouille, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, he did probably the most famous work he did was he was one of the animators on the Boba Fett sequence on the Star Wars Christmas special.
Wow. That's going back.
Yeah.
That's I don't know if I'd put that on a resume.
That's a classic. I mean, I know Lucas was embarrassed. I know he tried to kill the Christmas. I remember I would tell people
is the only thing in that special I think that people like,
and it's actually the very first appearance of Boba Fett.
Right.
Which a lot of people, Boba Fett's first appearance wasn't in Empire Strikes Back. His first appearance was on the Star Wars Christmas special, and then it's kind of crazy. So John was one of the character designers and stuff. He still had some like character sheets and stuff, and I'm like, he held them up on the air. It was great. Yeah, like I said, over 40 years in the animation business. And like I said, I was mostly interested in the stuff because he even worked on like Strawberry Shortcake and I think Care Bears too. Like Care Bears, maybe I think just a little He-Man. I thought he had just a little bit of He-Man. Yeah.
Everybody worked for Filmation at one point, especially back in the 70s and 80s.
What was that? Brave Star? What the cowboy? Do you remember that? Cowboy? Yeah, Brave Star. Yeah. He did that. He worked on that. So that's why I was like, but I immediately throw shade and go to Turbo Teen because he was like, I was embarrassed by that. Now but I'm telling you, if you ever want to laugh, go on YouTube and type in Turbo Teen and watch some of those clips.
Yeah, you've got me curious now.
Oh man, it was so.
That's pre-Cars. That's before Cars. Yeah, I see that.
But I'm gonna be honest. I used to watch it every week. It was on ABC, and I used to watch it. And there was another show called Rubik, which was about a magical Rubik's cube.
I remember that.
Yeah. He had like a troll face or something. He was like an alien Rubik's cube. And it was weird. He had arms and legs and a face, but his body was a cube.
Right. Yeah. I remember that one.
Yeah. And then like if you could scramble him up, that's how you would deactivate him or whatever. It's like, I'm gonna trap you, Rubik, and then you would just mix the Rubik cube up. And so they had a couple of smart kids that were helping him, and they were able to solve a Rubik's cube and get him. It's like, okay, let me solve the Rubik's cube, and then when I fix them, he'll be back able to use.
So many cartoons back then were based on toys. You remember, like, because you had like G.I. Joe, and you had Masters of the Universe, and do you remember the show Mask with the cars that transform? I'm a little younger than you, so we might be not. I think it was like 1985.
Yeah, I love Mask. Mask was one of my favorites.
Oh, you remember Mask? Okay.
Yeah, it's actually one of when I've talked about Brand, that was one of the cartoons like Mask.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Mask.
Okay.
Transformers. I love Knight Rider, He-Man. Those are things that I loved when I was a kid.
The X-Men cartoon was great.
Yeah.
It was really well done. Yeah, the 80s were just fun. Cartoons were so fun back then.
Yeah. And let me see here. Let me get this from the Facebook. Is Daym Drops the Food Titan going to make an appearance? He will on November the 18th. We are going to be launching Daym Drops comic, Daym Drops Super Official, which I am going to publish and write along with my brand cohort, Mr. Kanan White. But if you want to get in on the know on that, you can go to daymcomic.com and sign up for the mailing list and get on there. I know we've got almost 2,000 people signed up waiting for the launch, but the official launch for Daym Drop Super Official will be November the 18th. He's going to be here on this channel with myself, and we're going to try to have a few guests, and hopefully we will people will buy some comics, and it'll be cool. But yeah, Daym will definitely be here on Wednesday, November the 18th. We've already got that scheduled. So at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, but yeah, he is coming. I promise. So yeah, that is. But no, like I said, I need it. Matter of fact, John just added something. He's got some crowdfunding things that he's doing. He's got most of his stuff is like aimed towards, like younger people. He wants to do like stuff but he just added something that is supposed to be 18 plus, because I know when I talked to him, we talked about stuff like heavy metal. Some of the he has some more adult, risque, more, like I said, but he's like 71, 72 years old now. So it's kind of, and surprisingly, he doesn't live that far from me. He's in Kentucky. So he's not that far. I could probably get to him within about 2 hours or so, hour and a half or so.
You mentioned heavy metal. This was one of my favorites growing up.
Oh, let me put the widescreen on.
Savage Sword of Conan. I used to love this comic, and I love the black and white.
Yeah,
Buscema, just so good. So good.
Speaking of which, I don't know if you saw this. John Buscema's daughter had put a statement out on Facebook about 2 days ago. Her home got broken into, and someone stole, because I saw Walt Simonson and a couple other pros sharing this on Facebook. I know like Billy Tucci and somebody, obviously John Buscema had a lot of friends, and she had about 12 photos of things. I mean, these are irreplaceable. You cannot replace these original pieces of John Buscema art that, I saw some Thor, there was some Conan stuff. I saw Mephisto. Like she said, there were like 45 pieces of original art that were stolen from her home. And, she didn't have photos of everything, but she was, like I said, about 11 to 12 pieces that she did have photos of. They've obviously contacted the police. They're just trying to put the word out and let people know, hey, if someone is trying to move these, try to sell these to you, these were stolen from our home. And, please let us know. I felt bad for her, because, I always hear about artists getting artwork stolen. I remember about a year ago, I was on Twitter and I saw Eric Larson someone stole. I guess he had been at a con and someone came up to his booth and managed to steal like a cover or something like that. And I've seen a couple of other artists. Yeah, there's been a couple of other artists that have had someone. Matter of fact, I heard Ethan said someone stole something from him and then tried to sell it back to him or something.
That's not smart.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to my knowledge, I don't think Ethan ever got the stuff back or whatever. It's this kind of.
Yeah, usually if someone steals something like that, they don't intend to sell it because they don't want to get caught. They just want it for themselves. But that's what's good about digital. You can't steal it, right? I mean, I guess you can, but there's no original to steal. So.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously the original art is kind of valuable.
There's a collectible. Yeah, there's definitely you miss out on that collectible market. Definitely.
Yeah, and like I said, but I felt bad for her. I know I also follow the Frank Frazetta. What's it called? The Frazetta Girls account. Yeah, I see his and I follow Jack Kirby's grandson and stuff. So there's a couple people. Like I said, I just felt bad for her because I was like, damn, I've actually had my home broken into. Oh God, that sucks. And you feel so violated. It's like, this is your home. This is like, this is where you when everything else is going, I'm the king of the castle or whatever. You come in your place, and to have someone, just kind of, violate you like. Yeah, so
arm up.
Hey, lock and load, brother.
I'm in Florida, baby.
Yeah.
Got lots of guns down here.
Yeah, that's why I was just like, but I felt bad, but it's clearly because that seems like a very specific thing to come in someone's home and steal. So that's somebody it's most likely
capable of violence, definitely. Because if you're home and they're taking a chance that someone's there, so yeah, definitely that's.
But I mean, the fact that they specifically went and stole this original artwork, that tells me that's probably someone that knows. It's probably someone that knows them.
Knew it was there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That seems like a very specific thing. That's someone that knows you at least casually. That know, this is John Buscema's daughter, and she has a bunch of art. So. She might be connected indirectly, like this person that stole it might be friends with someone that's friends with her, and she was like, "Oh, I'm friends with John Buscema's daughter, and she had like about 50 pieces of original art from him," and so. And then he was like, if I could get my hands on that, I can maybe.
If she knew what the pieces were, as soon as they popped up on eBay or whatever, you could nail the guy.
Yeah, that's true, but I wouldn't, man. You'd have to. Although we see cases on like Instagram and stuff. Have you? What was it? Was I told this story on stream. It was a rapper, and he was on Instagram Live, and he's got like guns in the background, and he's rolling up weed and doing all this crazy stuff. And then within an hour, the police show up at his house. Yeah.
I don't know what people. What are you thinking?
He's sitting in jail right now because
right.
I'm like, so because he was on probation and so I'm like, dude, stop showing every damn thing on social media that you're doing, man. Everybody's saying, oh, I've got girls here and we're partying. Here's some weed. I got guns. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, stop doing that, man. Because he's been sitting in jail for like 9-10 months now because he was already on probation. And they are definitely watching. So I don't know. You'd have to be, obviously you need to move the stuff.
Yeah.
But or you could end up being in a situation kind of like O.J. Simpson when he ended up going to jail this last time, where he went to jail because the guy had his he had his like USC jersey and a couple of other like sports trophies and collectibles that he had. And what was so bad is OJ had actually reported these things missing to the police. Right. He was like, hey, my home was broken and someone stole about 8 or 9 items. And now this sports dealer who actually had legally obtained these items, I guess he bought them from whoever they started getting, somehow all these items like, I've got this. This is signed by OJ Simpson. This is his USC jersey. It's signed by OJ Simpson, blah, 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 blah. And he's got like about 7 or 8 items that, he did not know were stolen. And they ended up, like I said, they came to his possession legally. And, I thought that was, that was funny because when the actual so-called crime occurred, it happened in Las Vegas.
Right.
And Nevada, like Las Vegas has got, I've heard Las Vegas has some crazy gun laws. I've heard Las Vegas has, they put him on a federal kidnapping charge. Because he held the guy in the hotel room for an hour.
That was a while ago. That was like 20 years ago. It wasn't that long.
Said maybe about 15, but I know he did at least 5 or 6, 7 years. I mean, he's on Twitter and stuff now, but I mean, he's been free for a couple of years now. But I mean, he did about 7, 8 years for that. That was crazy. And I was like, they put you in jail on a federal charge for trying to steal back your own stuff.
Armed robbery, baby.
Yeah, it was. And one of the guys had a tape recorder. One of the guys that was his friends was recording him to sell to the tabloids and stuff. And I was like, the whole thing, because that tape's on YouTube too, where OJ was going to the thing and he sounded like Shaft. It was crazy. Like I was watching. He was like, you think you gonna take my shit and steal it back to me? I'm the damn juice. You know, he sounded like Shaft. You jive, sucker. You know, it's like I'm Shaft.
Right out of a 1970s exploitation film.
Yeah, that was like the whole thing. Like I said, that audio of him, talking about the guy trying to sell him his memorabilia back was crazy. And I was just, but like I said, he held the guy in the hotel room for like an hour or so, and then so they had caught a federal kidnapping charge on him and all that. So I was like, okay. That whole, but I mean, like I said, he had to do a bid for that. He did several years in the pen for that. So I was like, but I mean, now he's home. He had a Cameo account for a while where he was like, hey, but then I guess Cameo decided, yeah, maybe we don't want to be in business with OJ Simpson. But there were people that were wanting to buy cameos from OJ.
Oh my god!
You know, it was like, I mean, hey, you look on his Twitter, he's got thousands of followers. People are following. I noticed he tweeted out something the other day after the election results and stuff, and people were like, yes, a fine, upstanding citizen like O.J. Simpson is giving political commentary. The whole thing was crazy.
Probably not a good idea.
But I mean, he has a lot of hate followers.
Right.
I remember talking to Richard C. Meyer about that on his YouTube channel. Like, they're waiting on him to make a video so that they can immediately, once he launches the video, they can thumbs down on it. They don't want to, they hate him. So right. they're only subscribed to his channel so that they can do thumbs down. And I was like, wow.
Yeah, I wonder what the percentage is. It could be as high as 25%. I don't know.
No, it's probably lower because he said it's 12. He said there's always that 12 people, because I know Ethan's had some hate. He said every video has at least 12 thumbs down.
It's the same 12 people.
Yeah, he said it's the same. He's like, it's the same 12 people. He said it's like he said some of them are probably the same person with more than one account. It's like, okay, I'm gonna log into this account and thumbs down the video. Then I'm gonna log into this account and thumb it down too. You know, and I was just like, he was like, yeah, I just kept noticing. He said, because most of the interactions that I have with people on my YouTube were pretty positive. And he's like, he said, sometimes I hadn't even launched the video yet, and then this thumbs down automatically. I hadn't even heard what I had to say.
Way too much time on their hands.
Yeah, and I was like, it gets weird because I've talked to him a few times about this. It was, I know when I first started appearing on Ethan's channel, it was kind of strange for me because all of a sudden I got flooded with follow requests and all this kind of stuff. I'm just kind of a private person. I'm not used to having any kind of attention or anything. So it was all of a sudden I was like a new puppy, and there were people that I know normally would not be giving me the moment. And then they're like, all of a sudden they was like, hey, Antonio, saw you on Ethan. Hey, man. Blah, blah. And I was like, it was weird. And then people were like looking up my private Facebook and adding me on there, trying to, and I, at first I was taking them, and then I started going, I was like, and I actually, something I had a conversation with Ethan, and he was like, you don't actually owe them that. He's like, you have a right to your private life and all that kind of stuff. He was like, and he was like, he said, and I was like, hey, I've got a business Facebook. If you send a message to the Ikari Press Facebook, I will get it. So I have that. So because there was a couple things happened where I had accepted a couple people on on my private Facebook, and then like just like putting up pictures of my niece or something, and guy put up like an inappropriate comment under the pictures of my niece. And I was like, that's my niece, man. What are you doing? Yeah, and then he deleted the comment and stuff. It was like the whole thing was weird. And I was like, oh, I got to get this guy going. This guy's got to go.
Yeah, there's always a balancing act between like the personality that people see and then, your own private world.
Yeah, so now I kind of have a policy. Like, if I don't know you or we ain't doing some business together, you should not add me on Facebook. It's like you said, that's like if you, I appreciate, like if you bought brand, because I had somebody go, hey, you didn't accept my Facebook request. I bought your book. And I was like, I appreciate you buying my book, and my DMs are open. If you want to call and send me a message, I'm happy to discuss it with you. But my personal Facebook, that's for my friends and family and people that I do business with. And that's good. And that was, like I said, I was struggling with that. And then Ethan said, hey, man, you have a right to some privacy, and and he said that, and I was like, you know what, Ethan, you're right, and I agree with it. And then I started going. I went through my list, and I was like, I don't know you, I don't know you, I don't know you, and I started getting rid of a lot of those people. I was just like, because it was like I said, I had a couple incidents that happened, like the incident with my niece. I thought I was like, dude, that's a serious violation. I was like, you definitely. I was like, yeah, okay, you bought my comic, but you definitely don't know me personally, and you don't know my niece.
Yeah.
And and I was like, please don't. Yeah. That's why I was like, but some people are so, they lack self-awareness. And I was like, oh, that stuff was, but that was something that I noticed when I started, appearing regularly on Ethan's channel. I just thought it was strange. So I was just like, it was, that's why I'm kind of like where I'm in the position I'm in right now. I'm kind of comfortable with it. I was like, I can do some like YouTube chats or whatever, talk on social media, Twitter or whatever. Then, I shut that stuff off and I just do my thing. So it's kind of, I'm comfortable with where I am right now. Like someone messages me on Instagram. I was like, hey, what's going on? Little brief conversation and keep it moving. And that's what it is. We have very clearly defined boundaries now, whereas before I was just like, okay, this guy's making me uncomfortable, but I have to be nice and do this and do that. And, because, like I said, hey, I sent you a friend request. I bought your comic. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I appreciate you buying the comic, but that doesn't give you access to my private life.
Right. And I think a lot of it too is on those streams, they're kind of like hangouts. Everybody feels like they're hanging out with you.
Yeah.
And that repetition, it's just like when you watch a movie star in a movie, you feel like you know that person because you're seeing them all the time and they don't have a clue who you are. So it's I think that's part of it too, is just they feel like they know you, or they know Ethan, or they know, John Malin or whoever, because they've seen them in repetition. They've interacted in the chats. Maybe there were some super chats and there was some interaction, and it's very easy to feel like you know the person and you expect them to know you as well. And you got to remind yourself, hey, I'm in a sea of faces out here. And,
trust me, I've gotten so many messages. Is it like I said, especially in the beginning, and I try to explain it to Ethan. I was like, man, it was like, I went from literally living in obscurity until all of a sudden I'm on a chat and you look, and at the end of the day, because I've been on a couple of the streams and some of those streams got 80, 100, 200 or 300,000. There's a video up on Ethan's channel that I'm on for the whole stream and got like 250,000 views on it. Yeah, that's a lot of people. So when you see that and you like, I was like, oh, okay. And then it told you, this is me. I was Argus 48 in Ethan's chat. And I was like, okay.
You don't have any That's funny.
And there was another guy, and he was saying like really weird stuff, like trolling in the chat. And then I was just like, okay. And I just blocked him. And then he sent me a message on my Facebook, on the Ikari Press Facebook, and he was like, "Hey man, that was me. I was just trying to get your attention, man. I was like, maybe I went a little overboard." I was like, "Dude, you were being really weird. So yeah, I don't want to interact with you." And he's like, "Yeah, man, we're just trying to have fun and do this." I was like, "Okay." He told me him and another guy run the account, and the whole thing was weird. He was just explaining to me. He's like, "Look, man," he said, me and my wife are going through a divorce, and I've been drinking a lot, and I was just kind of cutting. And I was like, you understand that I don't need to know that you're having a divorce. I don't need to know that. I just like whatever is going on in your life, that's just like stuff that's going on in my private life, you don't need to know. I was the whole thing was weird. And I was and some of the stuff made me uncomfortable. So I was like, that's why I've kind of like fallen back on some of it. I was like, what I want to do is I want to make comics, and hopefully people will support those. And then I want to make another comic.
You want your privacy back.
Yeah. Because I was just like, I've had people like, hey man, I'm not that far. I'm only like an hour away. Can I come over and hang out? And I was like, no. You can't. I was like, some of the messages I've gotten were kind of strange, and I was just like, and the reality is, I know that they're only saying it because they're like, oh man, I watch you on Ethan's channel, blah blah blah, and I was like, okay, and so it I don't know. I used to think I wanted to be I don't want to be famous. I just want to be, or if I want to have that kind of, I want to have that kind of fame where I still have privacy.
Yeah,
if
well,
that's
you want
possible.
people to consume your product, whatever the
Yes.
product is, exactly, but
I
not necessarily want to know everything about you personally.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Yeah.
That's
I
where
think
I'm
most
at.
artists seem to want that.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to be a rock. I used to think I want to be a rock star. I don't want to be a rock star. I want rock star money though.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, sometimes they go hand in hand, right?
Yeah, at least that's my personal take on it. But and it's always weird. Obviously, you appear to have the family life thing figured out, but I've been engaged a few times, and I would talk to my significant other about comics, and they would look at me like I don't give a shit about comics.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's I don't know how your missus is your is this a private world that you share? Maybe your kids like it as well, or what?
Yeah, my son does. He's 12, and he just finished reading 3 Jokers. So I've kind of gotten him into comics.
That 3 Jokers was amazing.
Yeah, I haven't read 2 or 3 yet, so don't say anything.
Okay.
I've only read part 1.
Wow.
I got him into it.
So. I've seen it digitally, but I want to get when they're going to put the trade paperback. I cannot wait. That is an amazing piece. 3 Jeff Johns and oh my God, this is. Wow. Jason Fabok and
It reminds me of the comics I used to love in the 80s, late 80s.
And the artwork is on point on every page. It's so like good. He's because I was like, why is this taking so? Because it was supposed to come out like a year ago, I remember, and then
you see why?
Yeah. And oh my God, the color! I'm talking about. They must have had they must have had a murderer's row of everybody that worked on this. I'm talking everything, the colors, the letters. Obviously, Jason and Jeff are in there. They're in the zone. But everything that I saw in the book was like $1 million top notch.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, it's the best. It's what comics should be, in my opinion. But
absolutely,
everything can't be to that level. You got to get things out.
And I can't wait. I checked Doomsday Clock with what was it? Was it Gary Frank and Jeff Johns? That although that might have been an issue or so longer than it. But I thought the story was fantastic. But
totally. Hey,
speaking
of family life is calling me to dinner.
Okay. Yeah. Well, actually, we're actually getting ready to. Because we've been going on for about an hour here, and thought we had a really good conversation.
Yeah, man, it's been fun. Thanks for having me on.
Just as we close out, kind of give people a rundown on War Party and let them know why they should support you and why you need it. Because, like I said, the link, if whatever platform you're watching on, you should see the link to or just go to Indiegogo and type in Indiegogo.com, type in War Party. It should come right up. But the link. The direct link to get to the campaign, if you're on Facebook or whatever, it should be in the description. You should be able to see it.
Definitely.
So just click on that link and go. I'm telling you, this looks incredible. It's
Thank you, appreciate it.
So
it's one of the best deals you'll get in crowdfunding. Like I said, it's 6 issues, 140 pages, $25. I do my research, so I like things to be have a realistic feel about them. It takes place in the past, so. Make sure all the uniforms and the weapons and everything are accurate. But if you like anything to do with werewolves or fantasy adventure monster stories, this will appeal to you definitely. And of course, the motivation is clear that the father's trying to get his daughter back. So I think a lot of people can relate to something like that, where if you especially if you have children, if your children were ever taken from you, you'd do anything to get them back.
Absolutely.
So it's a powerful story. It's entertaining. There's some humor in it. Obviously, I have some humorous characters to kind of lighten things up now and then, and it's just fun. It's just good old fashioned comic book fun, like the comics that I loved reading. And I try to write stuff that I want to read. You know what I mean? So I do write for myself first, but I just assume there's other people out that would like to read the type of things that I like to read as well. That's kind of the way I approach it. I try not to think too much about like who's going to want this and who's going to want I just say, what do I think's exciting? What do I think looks good? What do I enjoy reading? And then that's what I put into it. So, yeah, definitely give it a try. And we're gonna have some more perks added, like I said, with Preston Acevedo doing some work on the book, or doing some original artwork as well. And yeah, I think anybody that gives it a shot will enjoy it, honestly. So.
All right, this is, like I said, go guys, go check out War Party. Justin Murphy, I appreciate you coming on. We have enjoyed the conversation, and of course, I will be adding this because we've been getting a nice response to people as they listen to our podcast. So definitely go to anchor.fm/Ikari Press and sign up. You can leave voicemail on there. Just kind of, just share the podcast out. Obviously, go on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and check us out there. Just type in Ikari Press. We should come right up. And of course, thank you to all the folks over at Planet EGOBN that's been hanging out with us, watching this as well. I know we're about 300,000 strong over there, so that is fantastic. And of course, youtube.com/Ikari Press if you just want to hop in. But other than that, we're going to get out of here, guys. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, right here on YouTube, all at Ikari Press. IkariPress.com takes you to brand Way of the Gun. We're on Amazon. We're on Teespring as well. If you want to get any of Kanan's horrible designs for brand and get you a shirt, go up to a 5X. But guys, we're out, man. Back War Party.
Thanks a lot, Antonio.